So this next section is still about factors. We're going to be finding factors, and we are also going to be talking about what's HCF, what that means. It stands for highest common factor. Very good. Before we start, at the beginning of these lessons, when we start a new one, when we get to 2 lessons instead of 1, sometimes we'll have these sections that say prior learning to see if you can remember what we learned from the previous lesson. So take 10 seconds, see if you can circle all the prime numbers between 1 and 10. Should be very fresh in your memory because we just did it. The prime numbers. You should have 2, 3, 5, 7. That's it. 1, don't have 1, it's not prime. Okay. So our new work here, example number 1, says find and complete the set of factors for each of these numbers. So we did this a little bit in the table that we did from 1 to 20. So we're now going to do them again, and we're going to talk about them more being factors. So number 1, the things that times to give 1 is 1 times 1. That's the only timetable that we can do for that. So the factors, the only factor is the number 1. I'm going to write it over here on the side. For 2, we can do 1 times 2, which means the factors are 1, 2. For 3, we can do 1 times 3, which means my factors are 1 and 3. They are the things that I can divide 3 by. 4 is 1 times 4 or 2 times 2. When you write out your list of factors that I'm doing over on the side in red, try to do them in ascending order. So it's 1, 2, and 4 are the numbers that are the factors of 4. Question 5. We can do 1 times 5, which means only 1 and 5 are my factors. 6, we have 1 times 6, or we can have 2 times 3. Now, if we do those in order, the 1 is the smallest, then 2, then 3, then 6. 1, 2, 3, 6. 7. We can do 1 times 7, that's it. So 1 and 7 are my only factors. 8. We can do 1 times 8 or 2 times 4. In order, that is 1, 2, 4, and 8. Is anyone confused with what I'm doing? Is this making sense? Yes. Good. All right, number 9. We have 1 times 9, and we can do 3 times 3. So we have the numbers 1, 3, and 9. We only do the 3 once, even though it was 3 times 3. And finally, 10 is 1 times 10 or 2 times 5, which means my factors are 1, 2, 5, and 10. Okay, so that's how we write our factors out. So factors are anything that we can divide our number by evenly and not have a remainder. Now, the reason I've got my calculator up here on the screen is because some people know their times tables really well and others maybe you don't. So you can use your calculator if you're ever not sure whether something is a factor or not, and I'm going to show you that in this next question. So question 2, it says complete the set of factors for the 2 numbers that are there, and then we want to find the highest common factor from both of them. So for 12, when you're looking for factors, always start with 1 times your number, so 1 times 12, and then you slowly increase. So 1 works, so then I want to see if 2 works. So on my calculator over here, I know this is one that you're probably a bit well familiar with, but if we did 12 and I press, does that divide by 2? Oh, I got a nice number 6. So that means 2 times 6 is my next one. So I've done 1, I've done 2. The next number to check would be 3. So you do 12 divided by 3 and you get the number 4. So 3 times 4. Oh, my pen's just stopped working for a second. So go 3 times 4. Now, 1, 2, 3, 4 would be the next number to check, but because 4 is already here, it actually means I've found them all. Once you've got the two numbers right next to each other, so 3 and 4, you've found all of your factors. So to put them in order, start with the left-hand side of each of the pairs. We go 1, 2, 3, and then it would be 4, 6, 12. And there are your factors in order. So I'm going to write those down the end. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 12. They are all your factors. Let's do that again for 16. We always start with 1 times 16. Then we're going to use the calculator over here to see if 16 divides by 2, and hopefully you know that it does. It's 8, so it's 2 times 8. 2 times 8. Then you go, all right, now I'm going to try 3. You can actually just use a back arrow if you like and just change that 2 to a 3 instead of typing it all over again. Oh, if you get a fraction or a decimal in there, that means that that number doesn't work. Okay, so 3 doesn't work. Let's try 4. So go delete 4. And that means it is 4 times 4. And because this one finished with a 4 as well, it means I've found all of my numbers. It is 1, 2, 4. Don't repeat the 4. 8, 16. 1, 2, 4, 8, 16. Now, if you have got these lovely lists of factors here, you are trying to find the highest number in both lists. Seb, what is it? 4. So there's a 4 here and a 4 there. The higher numbers don't match. So yes, the highest common factor is a 4. All right, we did the process once. Let's do it again with some bigger numbers. Okay, so we have 30 and 48. All right, guys, there's a little bit of talking in the room. Shh. This is the part where you guys shouldn't be talking. You should just be listening. Thank you. The bigger the number gets, the more likely it is that you'll want to check with your calculator to make sure that you've got all of the factors. So let's go through this. We're starting with 30. We know we start with 1 times 30. 2 is also going to work. It is 2 times 15. And again, you can type these in. I'm going 30 and I'm dividing it by 2 to make sure it's a factor, and I get the 15. If I divide it by 3, then yes, I get a nice 10. So it's 3 times 10. What about the 4? When I type 4 in, I get a fraction, which means 4 is not a factor. Skip it, and we move on to 5. 5 times 6. Okay, the next number after 5 to check would be the 6, but because the 6 is already there, I found them all. So it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 10, 15, 30. So remember, you start with the first number in each pair. 1, 2, 3, 5, and then we do the second number going backwards. 6, 10, 15, 30. Is everyone okay? All right, let's do 48. We are going to start with 1 times 48. All right, 48. Does it divide by 2? Yes, it does. It is 2 times 24. Now we want to check 3, so we're going to divide it by 3 and get 16. 3 times 16. Not too many people know there's 16 times tables, so it's good to have a calculator. Then we're going to delete that and we're going to see if it works for 4. 4 times 12. Okay. 5. Does 5 work? No, I get a fraction or a decimal, so that doesn't work. So I move on to 6. 6 eighths are 48. That makes sense. 6 times 8. There is still one number missing, which is a 7, so we can quickly check the 7, but 7 is a fraction or a decimal, so it's not going to work. Next number is 8, and I've already got it. So count the left-hand side, we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 6. Then go to the right-hand side and go backwards, 8, 12, 16, 24, 48. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 8, 12, 16, I'm running out of room, 24 and 48. Hopefully your writing's a lot smaller than mine. So I'm after the highest common factor or the highest number in both of them. Let's go this side, Patrick. 6, indeed, yes. The highest number in both is a 6. That's it. Okay, so that's what you are doing to do the next section and see how you go. I know that this was meant to be, we'll do some of this today and probably finish it at the end of the week. I want you to do activity 1 where it says to find all the factors. You'll probably want to write out all your times tables over here and then do your list over on the right-hand side like I've been doing. Okay? So do that for activity number 1. And then activity number 2, which is super important, so put a tick on that, we're doing that. You are finding the factor list for both of those so that you can find the highest common factor. So activity 1 and activity 2, there is an activity 3, but it's just to play a game if you have time. But I want activity 1 and 2 done. Does that make sense? But if you don't get it finished today, that is okay, because we will have time at the end of the week to finish things off, okay? All right. So working on things up to page 10 is the goal.